Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, looks like my camera's all over the place. Did this thing get moved? Okay. All right. What's going on? Never seen anybody work harder than this guy. All right, cool. Well, the hearing's coming up here in a minute regarding the non-dissemination order. I wasn't sure if they were if it was going to be streamed, but I assumed they were going to, but I came on a little later than I wanted to. I needed to sleep. Walked 7 miles yesterday, and I was just like, oh man, I need to rest a little bit. He's going to allow it, 100%. All right, so who's gonna start me off with some coffees this morning? All right, let's get me some coffees. Wake me up. There we go. Look at that. If Hipler doesn't follow the obvious course, what else we got? I've never seen anybody. Yep. Did you see the doc the defense put out? No, I didn't. I don't know what you're saying. You mean in the doc section? I saw that there was one from the 15th. The redacted opposition to motion to vacate non-dissemination order. That one? I don't know what you're referring to, Lisa. Send me emails when you get stuff like that, you know. Instead of like having me try to find it, you know. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Is there anything interesting in it, or let's see. Mr. Kohberger's request, the order is based, let's see. My eyes are just adjusting here, so I have to make it bigger. Comes now Brian Kohberger by and through his attorney of record and hereby requests the court for an order to maintain the revised amended non-dissemination order issued on June 23rd, 2023 until sentencing. Mr. Kohberger's request regarding the order is based on 1. The language of the order that had not previously been challenged by the media, the ongoing publicity regarding the case. Well, who cares what your publicity is? and threats to Mr. Kohberger's safety. What does it have to do with anything? He's in jail currently. And the hold order for all witness issued by this court, meaning they can't say anything. This isn't going to persuade, I don't think, Hitler at all. The language of the revised amended non-dissemination order issued on June 23rd specifically ran through sentencing. In response to significant litigation and the Idaho Supreme Court ruling on this issue in the case, the court issued a revised amended non-dissemination order on June 23rd, 2023. By its terms, the order, this is actually before he confessed, the order was to remain in, wait, something happened over there. Alright. I'll just read it, keep that on the screen over there. But hey guys, if you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. Let's see, the ongoing publicity regarding the case. Okay, the language remained full force in effect until the conclusion of a trial and any sentencing proceedings that may follow until ordered by this court. After this order was issued, the interested parties raised no further objections to the revised order. Right, because you had to do a trial and all that stuff, but now he's just admitted doing it, so there's no reason that you can't put out the information. The motion filed by the media to vacate the revised order asserts that once a guilty plea is entered, that his right to a fair trial under the Sixth Amendment is extinguished. Motion to vacate at page 4. What the media fails to recognize is that Mr. Kohberger retains his right to a fair sentencing proceeding guaranteed under the 14th Amendment and his right to effective assistance of counsel under the Sixth Amendment and the Idaho Constitution. In this case, a substantial dangers of prejudice to Mr. Kohberger exist up to prejudice. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore, right? No, I don't know what that means. Boston 98. Kind of a weird sentence. It doesn't even make any sense. As set forth above in section 1, the amount of publicity coming before sentencing, even with the revised order in place, is massive. Further release would only serve to gin up the anger and violent rhetoric already at a fever pitch. I don't know, man. I mean, don't the Kohbergers think that anything coming out is going to help their client? I mean, they should be like, yeah, let it out. I want to see it because there's somebody else. Again, the court is well aware of the threats posed not only to Mr. Kohberger, but to his family and to court staff. At this point, the press has access to every witness who is not an agent of either party. As the court noted, it is its denial of motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order in 2023. The media is not being restrained. Only the parties are restrained, and those restrained are reasonable. Both parties had no objection and indeed sought to have the revised order remain in place at least until sentencing. Court security resources were at approximately at maximum capacity on July 2nd, 2025. The sentencing hearing, scheduled for 2 days, promises to be even more taxing on those resources. For 2 days. Now, lifting the non-dissemination order now is likely to change the atmosphere. That's going to be 2 days sentencing hearing? Wow. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like one and done. You get in there and... So they're probably going to provide they're going to try to do tons of mitigation stuff. But what for? What's the purpose of it? I mean, he's going to be sentenced to 4 consecutive 40-year sentences, and then a 10-year sentence, and then right. Well, thanks Susie Clue for the coffee. But yes, my channel actually is different than other channels out there. My channel has donated $251,000 to true crime related charities since January of 2020, and my channel relies on the support of the people watching the show to help support it, so that at the end of the month there's extra for me to send into various true crime related charities, a DNA fund, and a scholarship fund that we have. So if you're watching the show and you like my show and how I do the show, I would appreciate your support. We're currently at 0, which almost never happens when we cover a trial or hearings and so forth. So I'm not really sure what's different these days than other days. All right. In its response to the media motion, the state now withdraws its request for non-dissemination order to be continued until sentencing. So the state has withdrawn their request. They're the ones that requested it at the... I think it's going to just be whatever the prosecution wants. I don't think Kohberger has a leg to stand on at this point. Mr. Kohberger requests the court deny the media request to vacate the revised order ahead of sentencing in order to maintain the integrity of the process and the security and safety of all the parties involved, including the family, court staff, and attorney. The revised order should remain in effect. All right, no, it's not gonna remain in effect, in my opinion. I think the judge is gonna just be like, nope. I mean, Kohberger, it's a Zoom hearing. Is anybody there? What do you guys think? Hey, thanks so much, Leon Littlejohn. How is you? By the way, are you going to be able to come on and tell us about what you were doing? Your tracking that you just did recently? I think that'd be pretty interesting. All right, there's a poll question. Yeah, thanks, Leon. Appreciate it. The families have the right to know all the evidence before they make their impact statements. Yeah, I agree with that too. Apparently, though, the state is not going to sit down with the families until after the sentencing. How stupid. Oh, you are? Well, maybe after, when the gag order is off. How about that? Anyways, it seems like after this order is lifted, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in fast. You know, I'm putting in FOIA requests. I know other people are too. Like Plunger puts out a lot of requests, and the docket. So we'll see. There'll be a lot of new information at some point. Yeah, I think the prosecution could have made it part of the deal, where he has to give the details. There's no chance that's not something. I mean, I don't know if there's some law out there. If somebody's going to confess, they aren't required to. I just don't feel like that. It could possibly be a law. I mean, it's stupid if it is, because the requirement should be for them, if they are admitting doing it, then they have to go through all the evidence and say what they did, because after all, you don't want to have the wrong guy, right? Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure, Paige. I've been thinking I mean, they got the best deal possible other than death. Let's put it that way. So I'm not really sure how I think about it now. Did the same deal. Yeah, I mean, this is a deal where, had it gone to trial and Kohberger was found guilty and the jury couldn't decide on the death penalty, he would have got the same lengthy sentence, however, would have appeals. In this case, he doesn't have anything. Oh, cool. Families should get some property back of the victims after sentencing, too. Well, maybe we could try to get some channel memberships like Leon Littlejohn for other people, you guys. We're currently at $2.32 again. Another just crazy... I'm not sure what you guys are doing, man. It's almost like it's very strange. Alright, so we're down here to... It's already playing. Like, this is playing right now. So something will pop up on the screen. Yeah, I mean, I think I would feel like Steve Gonsalves feels. But in reality, I guess this makes it so that if a family doesn't want to see what happened to their victims, the mutilated bodies created by Brian Kohberger, then they don't have to see it. They also don't have to listen to all the details of that. I mean, I'm sure they want to, some of them probably want to hear exactly what happened and why or whatever, what they think. But, hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. And Shelly Boo Boo gifted a membership to Cyrus8520. Wonder if Brian will be able to make money or... Oh, that would be something. I think the judge should decide on that. Some are. Sarah Smile. I don't think most people are. You might be, though. Let's see. Wonder if... let's see the one. Yeah, so this one said, I feel like the Gonsalves family has been more disrespectful than the other way around. I can't understand the pain. I can understand the pain, but he's basically out calling them lazy and incompetent. Yeah. And then above we had Lore, what was it again? That was Lori. Leon Littlejohn. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he has been I just think, who wouldn't feel the way he feels? You know what I mean? Who wouldn't feel the way he feels? I think most people would. Hey, thanks, Julie, for the Venmo there. I believe Kaylee's dad wants the gag order to be lifted so he can say his piece without being held in contempt. I guess that's a good point. Hadn't really even thought of that. Yeah, I mean, before the... right, I mean, those guys are all under the gag order, so they should be able to say what they want when they get up there. I don't see any side of not removing the gag order. I don't see that at all. Right? There's no justification for not removing the gag order at this point. He's already admitted to doing it. That means that no information being put out will hinder anything. Now you think, oh, it makes it dangerous for him. Well, it's, you know, everybody kind of already has a good picture of what happened. However, I mean, her saying that makes you wonder if there's some other stuff that we just haven't heard yet that is ridiculous, you know. Hey, thanks, Allison. I like that he took the plea deal. There was a slim chance one juror could have... Right. Well, especially you get a couple of Prosecutions on there. Here's the reality, everybody. You guys have seen the Prosecutions, right? There is no chance that if they were on the jury that they would change their mind once presented the information. Because those people are absolutely... I wouldn't say all of them, because I've seen some go, wow, I was wrong. But it's the ones, the YouTubers who are still peddling the crap. They wouldn't change their mind because it's just confirmation bias. You know, they'll figure out a way. And they're the ones that wouldn't vote for, so that probably would just be a hung juror anytime you have a Kohberger on there. Maybe the district attorney, you know, Thompson was like kind of freaking out, thinking, man, there's so many of these weirdos out there that believe anything that is said, so they're not going. There's a good chance that somehow one of them might get on this jury, and then all of a sudden it's a hung jury. Then he only has to wait again for another trial 6 months later. And then another hung jury. Then you're going on and on and on. This ensures that, you know, he's guilty, and we know that he's guilty. Like, it isn't one of those things. So even if it went to trial and he was found guilty, you see, here's another difference here. If he went to trial and he was found guilty and given the death penalty, it would be another 20 years of nut jobs saying he's innocent the whole time and that he was framed. Kohberger now, with his own words, said he did it. So there isn't going to be there's no argument there. I mean, now there's just this fringe element of nut jobs that say, oh, he was forced to confess. Okay, then you're getting to the point where no matter what he says, you've got to keep going with he's innocent. But most people realize once he confessed that, yeah, he did it. All right. So that also is another, you know, the confession and no appeals are these massive wins. All right, so here we go.
All right, we are on the record in State v. Kohberger.
Shit, he's right there.
0124 31665. Present today by video is the defendant in custody with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Barlow, and Ms. Massoth. State is represented by Mr. Thompson, Mr. Hurwitz, and Ms. Jennings. On behalf of the media petitioners, we have Ms. Olson and Mr. Pedersen. Today's hearing is to discuss the media's request to terminate the non-dissemination order. The state filed a response indicating it was no longer objecting to that, and the defense did file an objection indicating that they do have a continued objection to lifting the non-dissemination order. I've read the briefs that have been provided by the parties, and I'm going to attempt to shortcut things here a little bit by asking whether the defense, who is the objecting party, has anything additional to add beyond what it had in its briefing before. I don't know that I need to hear from, frankly, the petitioner. I think the briefing was adequate, so let me just start with
Look at that
Ms.
psycho.
Taylor to see if there's anything else she wants to add.
Your Honor, there is not, but if there's further argument, Ms. Barlow will be making that argument on behalf of the defense.
All right. And to be fair, Ms. Olson, was there anything you felt was important to add that was not contained within your briefing?
Your Honor, we would just briefly say in response to the defendant's brief, we certainly understand the expressed concern about the media coverage of their client. We don't think continuing the non-dissemination order helps that at all. It simply continues to limit the ability of the members of the press to reach out to the people who know the most about the case. It doesn't obligate them to say anything. We also understand that they expressed that there was a due process right related to the sentencing. I read the case that they submitted. I think that there is obviously a due process right at sentencing, but I don't think that case is really it doesn't provide any guidance to the court here, because that was about information provided to the court. And given the very limited scope, and we understand it's very important, but given the very limited scope of what's to be decided at the sentencing, we don't think the arguments that Mr. Kohberger made should outweigh, at this stage, the First Amendment rights of our clients. Thank you, Your Honor.
Why is he even there?
All right, in light of
I
that
don't get it.
response by the media outlets or interested outlets, Ms. Barlow, do you want to add anything?
I would only say, Your Honor, as this court is well aware, the publicity in this case is so extensive and emotions are already so high that adding fuel to the fire of media interviews or a rush to interview people as they leave the courthouse or enter the courthouse would only increase the concerns that the defense has. And even though the plea has a specific sentence attached to it, as this court is well aware, things happen in plea hearings and, sentencing hearings. And to minimize the possibility of that, we request that this order stay in place.
All right, thank you. All right, as the court has considered the petition, frankly, the court was prepared at the time the plea was entered to lift the non-dissemination order in order to give the parties time to evaluate that and to ensure I wasn't missing anything. When both sides objected, I agreed to continue the non-dissemination order. I also indicated that I would have the potential to look at that again before sentencing, because frankly I anticipated the motion from somebody, in this case the Ms. Olson and her clients, was likely to be coming. At this point, I do not believe the purpose of the non-dissemination order, the primary purpose, which is to ensure that we can seat a impartial jury, is any longer at play. The concerns identified by the defendant, while certainly not to minimize those, they are concerns and they are significant concerns. I do not think, however, the non-dissemination order and the right of the public to information is outweighed or outweighs those rights, I should say. And frankly, I don't think that lifting the non-dissemination order will meaningfully impact those concerns. I mean, the media frenzy, as it has been described, will continue regardless. It is a little bit like a water will find low ground. In this case, the media is going to write about something, regardless, about this case. Lifting the non-dissemination order does not require the counsel or others who were previously bound by it to speak, and the state has indicated that they don't intend to until after the sentencing. And certainly I would hope that the media interests would respect those positions and give people the space that they need and request. In terms of, for example, the defendant's family and others coming and going at the sentencing, we intend to have, as we did before, appropriate security measures in place to ensure that they, as well as the victims, are allowed to get in and out unscathed by the media, if that's what they wish to do, or if they wish to speak to the media, they can do that as well. At this point, I just don't think that I can justify the continuation of the non-dissemination order. I think the rights of the public to information in this case is paramount, given the fact that a plea has been entered in this case, and so I'm going to lift the non-dissemination order. But I want to point out what that means and what it doesn't mean. So obviously nobody's required to speak to the media, first of all. Second of all, I want to be clear that the court's prior preservation order to the parties is not lifted and continues to stay in place. And so it's important to understand that those obligations still exist. And then—
Wait, what is he saying?
The other thing I want to point out is that by lifting the non-dissemination order, that does not convert sealed documents to unsealed documents. Documents previously sealed by the court are still sealed. Now, I see the media also filed a petition to be heard to unseal everything. I'm denying that outright, the request to intervene, because I think it's premature at this point. So the court will its intent is to, after sentencing, begin the process of reviewing all the sealed material in this case to determine what should be unsealed and what should not be unsealed. That process will include an opportunity for counsel to register any objections to unsealing documents, specific documents, and request to redact certain sealed documents before they are unsealed, or unseal them in a redacted form. I intend to do that in groupings of documents at a time. As I sit here now, my thought is I'm going to start from newest to oldest, because those are the ones that I have the most working knowledge of as to the reason for the sealing of the documents, as well as the content of those documents. And so I think I can get through those more quickly. As we move backward in time, it's going to take further or more extensive review by the court to figure out, to obviously review the content of those documents, listen to those hearings, et cetera, and determine why they were sealed and whether that rationale still is necessary, or that rationale still requires the documents to maintain that sealed status. And so before everybody gets out their pen and paper and sends in public records requests, understand those will be denied for sealed records until they are unsealed. And that process is going to take time. And I'm not talking days, and I'm probably not talking weeks for that to be accomplished. So I hope people understand patience will be required to get through that, as I'm going to have to review those myself to make those decisions. Now, we may be able to speed things up if neither party objects to groupings of documents or specific documents being unsealed. But it's important to review those, because those documents may include information that pursuant to Rule 32 are not to be made public, including birth dates, social securities, information about minors and victims, and information that would be essentially inappropriate to unseal, including protection of individuals from undue harassment, et cetera. And so that's just going to take time. In addition, I'm unlikely to unseal much until after sentencing and after the appeals period has run. Now, I recognize the plea agreement includes a waiver of the right to appeal, but as the parties probably know, the U.S. Supreme Court in Garza versus Idaho has indicated the fact that a defendant waives the right to appeal doesn't mean they don't have the right to appeal. And so it may affect the outcome of that appeal, and it may affect the underlying case and the plea agreement, but nonetheless, the right to appeal does not go away because of the waiver. And so I think it's important for that time period to also play itself out to see that it goes the way that I think people intend and expect it to. And so I will be entering an order in the next week or so outlining the process for the review of the sealed records. And counsel will need to maintain a presence in the case in order to review those materials as they are proposed to be unsealed by the court. Because the timeline that I will likely give you will not be, I suspect, extensive as for each group of records. So I might give you 14 days, for example, to provide a response as to a group of,
how do you know what to ask for?
Records at a time. So
just ridiculous.
Sort of heads up and fair play with respect to that. Any questions by the parties about the ruling today?
Yeah, what do you...
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
No questions from the defense. Thank you.
So Olson, do you have any questions?
I don't, Your Honor. I wasn't certain if I was included within the parties. I would just say I think that the court's proposed manner of moving forward on the sealed records will likely largely address our interests, and we appreciate the court setting that out in this hearing today.
Yeah. If certain records after review maintain their sealed status, it would be at that point that I would entertain
Judge Hipler,
requests for me to consider that more formally and to have a voice in that. But I think until I've gone through that process, it's premature, which is why I don't intend to take up your motion, your more recent filed motion at this time. So,
thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate that.
All right. And with that, then we are adjourned. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
That was about the shortest hearing I've ever seen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. Well, there's... Kohberger looked like a nut job, but I think Judge Hipler here, wanted his cake and eat it too a little bit. Doesn't it seem like it? Like he basically said, "I'm lifting the gag order, except we're gonna, start lifting it after the sentencing hearing, and then really slowly over time." I mean, Jesus. And what does that mean? How do you know what files are available? Are they just going to upload them? I think they just might be uploading them to this site here. Don't you guys think? I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like, that they're just going to upload them to this same website, the sealed documents. Does that sound right? I mean, I might have to ask about that. I don't know. But guess what, you guys? Guess what? I have the Delphi trial transcripts. Woo! Should we do it? That's pretty cool, though, right? Yeah. You know, I'm wondering if remember last night on the show where I showed that email where that lady was trying to do $4,000? Yeah, they're free. Okay, so yeah, not bad, huh? Nothing has been lifted yet. So what do you think has been lifted that is net new? Well, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that is. Yeah, I'm pumped to look at this Delphi document. Maybe we should get started on that tonight. I don't know. What do you think? How many times does Hipler say, yeah, it's weird. He goes, yeah, I'm going to lift the order, but it's going to take time to go through. But what about the other things like video and, surveillance video and things like that? I mean, I'm still going to throw in my emails and see what happens. They will list the they are? What do you mean they will list the documents? That's great. They will list the documents. What do you mean by that? Scalbo Willie. And by the way, if you're watching and you like the show, if you could please help support the channel, I'd appreciate it. I've had some bumps in the road lately, and we're past the halfway point of the month. Yeah. I've thought of that, but man, you know what? The drive from Clarkston to Wawawe Park along that river is it's miles and miles and miles. It would just be. What they should do is have a boat go up and down it with magnets on it and see what they can get. So can someone please explain about the right to appeal? There isn't a right to appeal. What do you mean by that? Meaning appeal a lot of times people, they appeal over and over again on various technicalities of a case to try to get a new trial. And he will not be able to do that. So that's how much he wanted to save his own life. The potential of, because he knew that if he went to trial and he got the death penalty, he's likely not going to get out of that. But this way he made sure that he wouldn't get the death penalty, but he can never appeal. That means he's absolutely admitting. That's what the Kohbergers don't seem to understand, is that the fact that he would never allow himself to ever have an appeal is absolutely proof that he did it. I mean, that means he's literally saying, okay, man, I'll take whatever give me whatever. If he didn't do it, then he definitely wouldn't have had that in there. Okay. Cool, Little John. Thanks, user. Gifted a membership to who got that one? To Leda. Yeah, do you guys? Wait, let me ask you guys something. Do you think that they're going to post these unsealed documents to the Ada County website? The one that we've been looking at. It feels like that's what they'll be doing, right? But there's got to be other things. I might have to make some calls and ask questions. He probably will appeal. What do you mean? He can't appeal anything. That's what we just said. There's no appeals in this case. He's not going to be able to appeal anything once he gets sentenced. See, what he's hoping for, though, is to have some judge in the future come forward and say, it's not constitutional to not allow appeals. And then it'll be life with appeals, and then they'll start working their little angles. And That's why it's so important for him to have shown where the knife was and also to give a detailed account. Therefore, you know, then it's sort of like solidifying that he absolutely is the killer, because he's the only one that would have known where the knife was. He's the only one that would know specific details, like perhaps the carving of Ethan's leg, you know. So I'm hoping they did that on the side and we just aren't aware of it. You know, perhaps that was, you know, this is what we can hope. The conversations that Bill Thompson had with Kohberger and the defense team included stuff like that before the deal was made, but we're just not aware of it, and he's not saying until later. All right, I'd feel better about Thompson if that's the truth, because the only thing they gave up on was the death penalty and then made it much harder. Anyway, I don't know. I wanted it to go to trial, though. You know, I for my own just curiosity and interest in the case and wanting to know, I wanted it to go to trial so we could all learn and see all of the stuff that's out there. All the documents should be listed with a notation of sealed status. But I said a minute ago, do you guys, okay, so Scabble Willie, or Skabibble Willie, thinks that that'll be uploaded to the Ada County site. And so that's like right here. Let me show you what it looks like. So it's right there, and then you click on the Ada County version. Actually, you click on Ada County, and then these are the new one. Like, that's the one that just came out today. But I mean, look at this. This is what, over the years, this is what everybody's relied on. So I'm kind of wondering if they're just going to put them out there. You know? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just upload the documents to this site. The documents, but how do you get things like video, body camera footage, that kind of stuff? It does make sense. Yeah, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, all of it, but what I want are the like discovery stuff. You know, I want to have cell phone data information. I want all of that. So I guess that's going to take a while to get all that. Let's see. What is this one? Is this the trial? Oh, they have to actually have the jury question and everything. Did you have any response to any of my questions? Yeah, that's crazy. So they have I have all the whole trial, I guess. Let me see what she said in an email here. Okay, so volume 9. Okay, yeah, so volume 9. And she said page 207, is that right? Let me just check. I'm just looking at something to make sure. I guess they're asking. I'm not sure why voir dire is in here. The court, so the augur, thank you, so that you. All right, we are on record. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Nice to see you here this morning. A couple of housekeeping matters. Thank you. All right, let's see. It's Rosie. Yeah, so I guess it does. Looks like this is it right here. I just want to make sure this is the part. All right, so I think, yeah, there's opening arguments. And I just want to make sure it gets into direct examination. Yeah, okay, cool. There it is. Wow, you guys, we have the Delphi trial transcripts. What do you guys want to do with that? I think we need to have like a panel and have people come on and they act out different spots, but we need to have a judge on there. 8675309 said that she'd probably be into that. All right, you guys, I think that's gonna do it. Anything else you want to talk about? So Judge Hipler sounds like he, obviously he removed the gag order, but piecemeal, and amazingly how it starts right after the sentencing. Well, I mean, that's exactly what their argument was. They wanted it in there until sentencing. So you agreed with the defense, but you made it seem like, that's pretty funny. We're all Richard Allen. Yeah, so should we start doing the Delphi trial tonight, you guys? I don't know if they can talk. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they lifted the... I guess maybe the documents can't be out, but can they say the stuff that's in the sealed documents? See, I guess that's what the problem is. If these guys start going out and talking, they're going to be saying stuff that is still sealed, maybe, and then eventually it will get unsealed. So it sounded like he even mentioned that people involved will still can't say everything yet, or something. Anyways, thank you to Leon Littlejohn, and then Lar E, and then Shelly Boo, Kim TX, We Say Howdy Here. So Leon Littlejohn and We Say Howdy Here gifted 10 memberships. Then we had Mopar Mama, KMTX, Millennial has a question, gifted one, and Scabble Willie, Super Chat, and then user OZ7 something or other. Hey, and there's Leon Littlejohn again at the buzzer. Yeah. Where is she? Oh yeah, and thanks to 2 Venmos from Julie and Allison. All right. Anyways, that was it, you guys. Probably the shortest hearing in history. I mean, he had all these people, but didn't Kohberger look crazy? Like just weird as hell, man. It looks like Skeletor, for God's sakes, just staring at the screen. I mean, that was the most movement we've seen from him all this time. He probably enjoyed looking at all these people's faces, because in court he just stares blankly forward. He doesn't even know what anybody looked like. I don't even think he knew what his own attorneys looked like. He finally was looking at the screen, and it reminded him of all the days where he'd get on his computer and look up stuff for Madison Mogan. I mean, that's what it sounds like, is that he met, let's see, that, and this is what I was saying to you guys the other day. You remember how when he would follow somebody, he would follow Maddie, and he also liked pictures or something on Kaylee's site, but they were always ones that had pictures of Madison in it. So in reality, he really was only focused on Madison Mogen, and the picture of the, when it would be with Kaylee, he would like those too, or view those, and that was really just because Madison was in the picture. And now, if you watch the video I put out the other day, it talks about how Elliot Rodger, if you believe in the Papa Roger connection, I think that's likely going to be a true thing. He was really hyper-focused, on a friend that he had named Maddie, and then eventually became the object of his hate later on, because the once friend that treated him like an equal turned into one of the hot blondes that had a life that he doesn't get to have, even though he was never attracted to her. She just represented that life. So he said he would enjoy flaying her, right? And so what's weird about Papa or Elliot Rodger is that Elliot Rodger used a knife on his two roommates, two Asian guys, before driving out and killing people with a gun. So he filleted his two male roommates and then went out and it was really weird. He ambushed both of his roommates. I mean, just crazy shit, man. And you know what's weird is people are saying, you know what somebody said? The writer of the book, the James Patterson book, the co-author, she said that he was, if you turn down the audio, you would just think he was Tom Cruise. Does anybody think Elliot Rodger looks good? I mean, that guy looks like a freaking nut job. His head is twice the size of as it's supposed to be, and he's just... Yeah, I think for certain. I think there's been too many sort of comments by people that are in the know that Papa Rogers is Kohberger, right? And also Dateline, for example, in their first series, they put it out there. They put it out there first that Papa Rogers is. They said in that first documentary or whatever what you call it. And it's not there anymore. The video isn't. You can hear the audio on podcasts out there of the whole episode. But they said that Elliot Rodger, that they believe that Elliot Rodgers is Brian Kohberger, or vice versa. Yeah, Elliot Rodgers is a strange-looking person, man. She said he looks like Tom Cruise or something. I mean, I guess if you think Tom Cruise is weird-looking, then maybe that's, Yeah, I guess that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, Ash. Yeah. I missed the hearing. Did the gag. Yeah, it got lifted, but it didn't really change anything. He lifted it till after the sentencing, and then they'll have to go through it slowly and make sure that there's things that need to be redacted aren't put in there. So I don't know. It's going to take a while, but I think he's just going to upload everything to this website. So we're going to have a lot of new stuff coming up probably after the sentencing, and I'll be covering the sentencing, so make sure you're over here watching that. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Oh, and thanks for the coffee, Lisa. I saw that. All right, see you. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector
Flag rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector.
Oh, and thanks, Norbert.
On a stretcher, if you try and play
thanks
me
to
like an
Susan for the PayPal that
crime
just came in.
sector is my nectar. Professor Gregel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector. Fool deflector,
interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
On his spectre, with all respect, y'all.
Just remember,
I have a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender, and I'll send it to you straight without a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to the needle to offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I got it, Lisa, earlier. I haven't been able to look at it yet, but see you later.